Horror hits hardest when you realize the nightmare didn't end when the credits rolled. From secluded outback hunts to the chilling banality of human cruelty, these 5 stories are uncomfortably real. Welcome back to Screen Curator. Let's add these terrifying true crime masterpieces to your watch list right now. There is a distinct, visceral kind of dread that settles in when a horror film reminds us that the dark isn't just a canvas for our imagination, but a historical record. To kick off our list, you absolutely need to experience the modern masterpiece that is The Conjuring. This film plunges us into the 1971 case files of real-life paranormal investigators Ed and Lorraine Warren as they step into a decaying Rhode Island farmhouse. What makes this ride so uniquely terrifying is how director James Wan rejects cheap computer graphics, opting instead for a textured old-school atmosphere built on long, unbroken camera takes. You are trapped in the rooms with the pair and family, feeling every creaking floorboard and sudden drop in temperature. The tension is so thick, so relentlessly earned, that the ratings board famously slapped it with an R rating simply because they deemed the sheer terror too intense for PG-13. It is a haunted house story that respects the genre, delivering a masterclass in building dread that will have you looking over your shoulder long after the credits roll. If you want a film that treats its true story roots with terrifying gravity, this is your perfect starting point. Sliding into our number 4 spot is a film that completely redefines the exorcism subgenre, The Exorcism of Emily Rose. This chilling masterpiece masterfully anchors its supernatural terror in the tragic real-life 1976 death of Annalise Michel. What makes this film such an incredible ride is how it trades cheap, formulaic jump scares for a haunting courtroom drama, placing faith in medical science on direct trial. We watch a devout priest fight for his freedom after a young girl dies under his spiritual care, forcing the audience to grapple with a deeply unsettling question: where does severe psychiatric illness end and genuine demonic possession begin? The visual horror here relies on raw physical reality rather than digital wizardry. Jennifer Carpenter delivers a towering, bone-chilling performance as Emily, twisting her body into sickening, impossible contortions entirely without the help of special effects. Her physical commitment creates an agonizing, intensely atmospheric portrayal of suffering that will linger in your mind long after the credits roll. If you crave a horror experience that respects your intellect, challenges your beliefs, and absolutely freezes your blood, this is an essential addition to your watch list. Sliding into our number 3 spot is a film that will challenge your endurance and leave an indelible scar on your psyche, the 2007 shocker, The Girl Next Door. This is not a movie about supernatural entities or masked slashers, but rather a terrifyingly grounded look at the monstrosity that can hide behind manicured suburban lawns. Based on tragic real-life events, the story transports us to a quiet 1950s neighborhood where 2 orphan sisters are sent to live with their unstable aunt. Stephen King famously described this film as the dark side of the moon version of Stand By Me, and that is the perfect framing for this haunting experience. The true terror here is the social contagion. We watch in quiet horror as a trusted adult slowly manipulates the neighborhood children into participating in an escalating campaign of cruelty. It is a grueling, deeply atmospheric, and unforgettable ride that forces you to confront how easily human morality can erode when doors are closed. If you have the stomach for a story that is as psychologically devastating as it is masterfully acted, this is an essential, albeit heavy, addition to your horror watch list. At number 2, we arrive at a film that fundamentally shattered the landscape of modern terror, the 1974 masterpiece, The Texas Chain Saw Massacre. Decades later, its raw, sun-drenched nightmare still feels less like a studio movie and more like a piece of cursed found footage you weren't supposed to find. While the narrative of stranded teenagers is fictional, the dread is anchored in a terrifying reality. The character of Leatherface and his macabre home decor were directly inspired by the real-life atrocities of Ed Gein, a Wisconsin killer who fashioned household trophies from human remains. Director Tobe Hooper channels this true crime depravity into a gritty, documentary-style assault on the senses. Filmed during a grueling, sweltering Texas summer with temperatures exceeding 100 degrees, the sweat, exhaustion, and sheer panic radiating off the actors are entirely genuine. There are no cheap, modern jump scares here. Instead, the film traps you in a humid, claustrophobic atmosphere of inescapable doom that slowly builds to a fever pitch. If you want to experience a relentless masterclass in pure, cinematic tension that will leave you physically breathless, this legendary classic demands your immediate attention. Crowning our list at the absolute number 1 spot is a film that will forever change how you look at the horizon, the grueling Australian masterpiece, Wolf Creek. This isn't just a horror movie. It's an exercise in raw, unfiltered dread that takes the vast, beautiful emptiness of the outback and turns it into a suffocating cage. Inspired by the terrifying real-life backpacker murders of the 1990s, the story follows 3 travelers stranded in the middle of nowhere who accept help from a charismatic local named Mick Taylor. What makes Wolf Creek so profoundly disturbing is how it subverts the friendly, laid-back Aussie archetype, weaponizing warmth before plunging you into a cold, desperate struggle for survival. Shot with a gritty documentary-like realism, it captures the terrifying truth of absolute isolation, where the landscape itself feels hostile and help is thousands of miles away. It is a slow-burn nightmare that builds with agonizing tension, offering an unforgettable ride of visceral, realistic terror. If you want a film that bypasses cheap jump scares to deliver pure primal survival instinct, you must experience this absolute triumph of tension. But be warned, once you enter Wolf Creek, you never truly escape. And that's our list of 5 horror movies based on disturbing true stories you truly cannot unsee. If this dive into the darkness kept you on the edge of your seat, hit that like button and subscribe to stay part of the hauntings to the pure, depraved cruelty of human nature. But I have to ask, does knowing these events actually happen make the film a masterpiece of storytelling, or does it cross a line into exploitation? I'm curious to hear your take. Here are some more videos of ours you can watch right now. See you in the next one.